Just wrapping up the weekend. I really felt like last weekend we played against a very experienced, talented, and deep team, and they were really ready to play. Have to give Boise credit. I think they got a really deep roster, really talented defense, and really kind of gave us a measuring stick as a program to what we need to do and where we need to go. We need to recruit long, tall, athletic guys and guys with size. We need to develop our players in our weight room and really have the type of size and depth to compete against a team like that. And so, I think we have 4 games left. This is the third game in the third quarter, and it's a really important game. We're going to play San Jose this week. Really a good-looking football team. They have some really talented players offensively. Chevin Cordero is doing a great job for them, really doing a good job of protecting the football, and they've really kind of ridden him in the passing game. Really good player that was at Hawaii and now transferred to San Jose, played against him several times over the years. Number 32, Kyrie Robinson, is a real physical back, one-cut runner. And then Elijah Cooks, couple of their receivers. They actually have 3 of our former receivers at Nevada are really good players. And Elijah Cooks leading the league in receiving, really quality player, veteran player, got great size and really good hands. And he's having an excellent year. And so they really try to go through the passing game, and we have to do a good job of controlling them. Defensively, it looks like the same defense we've been playing the last few years. And 2 of the better defensive linemen that we will play all year, Viliami Fahoko, number 42, excellent defensive end, Caden Hall, number 92. Those guys have been playing together. Seems like forever we've been playing against these guys. But really quality defensive linemen, do a great job in pass rush, and we're going to have a big challenge with our offensive line this week with those guys. And number 7, Kenyon Reed, is a really good secondary player for them as well. And it's a good football team. It's well coached. They've done a great job with their turnover ratio. And so turnovers will really be important, that we do a good job taking care of turnovers. And it's going to be a physical, competitive game. It always is when we play these guys. I've been in this league 6 years, and every year that we play them, it's a competitive game. So we're really looking forward to the challenge.
What does concern you most about their pass rush, their ability to get to the passer, especially after watching the success Boise had last week?
Well, they're physical, they're excellent pass rushers, and they don't have to bring a lot of pressure to get pressure. And so they do an excellent job with their schemes. They're well coached fundamentally. Have a lot of respect for how this team is coached. So we're just going to have to do a good job. We're going to have to be physical. We're going to have to really secure the pocket and give Clay time to do his job.
Where do you sit with your center position, I guess? Is it?
Yeah, we're hoping George continues to improve. He's much better than he was a week ago, but still not 100%. And Keegan will continue to work at center. I think by game time, hopefully George will be ready to play, but we'll just kind of see how the week goes.
I mean, we talked a lot about your quarterbacks. I mean, you played 4 now. You played 6 centers now in a game. Have you ever had a year like that?
No. It's been an unusual year. And I think it's been an incredibly unusual year. I think we're down in the 50s now in scholarship players, and so yeah, it's been a very unusual year. And it's forced some of these young players to have to take a bigger role than their experience allows them to. And I know I looked up in the first quarter. I'm watching film Sunday morning, and I got on the plane, and we had three walk-ons on offense all playing at the same time. And I can't really ever recall ever doing that in 42 years of coaching. So a lot of things have happened this year that haven't happened in 42 years of coaching. But I'm really proud of some of the kids we had. I told them today, we didn't lose that game because of lack of toughness. I thought our composure was not good at the beginning of the game. We had some penalties, some drop balls, just put us in some bad situations, and they were ready to go. That's as good as they played all year, especially offensively. And so you just can't make those kind of errors in a game like that.
Sort of in that same vein, is this the youngest team you've ever coached as far as guys on?
It's a really young team. When my first year at Nevada, we went to Boise, and it was a kind of a similar game, but we did not have the type of youth and inexperience that, especially what we're playing with on offense. And it's difficult to overcome some of it, and I think our guys are doing a good job. We obviously didn't run the ball effectively Saturday, and we really needed to, and that was an issue. And the other part of that is when you're playing against quality opponents, your good players really got to play good. Your veteran players, your kids that do have experience have to carry the load. And we didn't have a good performance from a lot of our top players Saturday. And so we got to learn from that. And, we have another opportunity this week against a real quality team who's playing pretty well. And, we're going to have to answer the bell Saturday.
Is another factor with such a young group that some of your a little bit more veteran guys maybe have to carry more leadership role than you would if you
Yeah, I mean, you try to lean on your experienced players, and our offensive line, our defensive line, our linebackers, those guys have played a lot of football. We got Chiggy at corners, played a lot of football. Those players kind of have to lead the way in a game like that, and because they had a bunch of seniors on defense. A bunch of guys that played a lot of football games, and so you have to match that. When you play an important game, a big game, especially a road game like that. And so, our season is not over. We have a lot to accomplish. This week's an important week because, we can have a winning record here in this third quarter, and then we got 3 games left, and we got a chance to finish. We started the season, really poorly our first 4 games. And we're really determined that we want to finish these last 4 games in a much different manner. And so, and it starts this week.
Avery got a little banged up. How's he doing?
He's doing pretty good. He's sore, got a little contusion, but I don't think it's going to be anything. He was out there working today, so I think he should be fine by the weekend.
Patty Turner's a guy that's technically still learning how to punt American style. A guy that's coming off his best game. Up and down here, what have you seen that's encouraged you about him and what they've done?
I think he's improving all the time. What we do with our punters is really not easy. It's pretty challenging. When I went to hire special teams coaches, I started with Coach Perry, and there's really not many people out there that do what we do. We try to move the pocket. We try to move directional punt and keep the punt returners moving. And so, there's a little bit of a learning curve with that with Patty. But I think he's improved every week. I think he's getting better. And I think he's getting to a point where he'll start being a weapon for us, where we can move the ball around on return men and really make them have a hard time fielding the ball.
He's a kid that's really hard on himself. How do you combat that to keep him moving forward?
I think it's a good thing. I know in this game there's a lot of pressure from outside forces, but there's no pressure like our guys put on themselves. They want to do well. They have high standards for themselves. And Patty really wants to be great. And so he's also a captain, so he feels he has a responsibility to play well and do his job. And so I think that's a good thing. It helps motivate him. He's working all the time. He's always up in the offices, as a punter. He's not like a position player where he's trying to read defensive schemes and stuff. His job is basically to repeat the same motion over and over again. So, but he's always up in the offices and really takes it takes pride in getting everybody in special teams meetings. So I just think it's a good thing. I think he's going to continue to improve.
Can you talk about the way that Jack is playing and the impact he's had this year?
Yeah, Jack is. I love Jack's attitude. He's a football player. I mean, he loves the game. He loves practicing the game. He loves studying the game. And I just think that's so important at his position. You kind of have to be the quarterback of the defense when you're a safety. You have to get everybody lined up. You have to communicate when there's motions and checks. He does a great job of that. And, I'm just really excited to see him play these next 4 games and finish and have a great season. But he's always thinking about ball. He's always thinking about adjustments. And I think he's really emulating Coach Banks and what he wants in the back end.
When he has 17 tackles in a game, some coaches obviously get disturbed if their safeties have that many.
Yeah.
That's where you kind of want him that active with where he plays.
Well, our safeties are active in the way that we play, and a lot of times in some of our pressure looks, those guys have key fits in the run game. So, and especially when you play against a running quarterback, your safeties have to do a good job of tackling and filling the alleys. So it's not that unusual, but we don't want to put too much pressure on those guys in the back end to make all the tackles either.
With Howard and Blackburn both posting career highs in tackles against Boise State, would you say the safety group is just getting better as the season goes on?
Yes, I really like those guys. I just think they're really buying in. I think the personality of our defense has really been greatly affected by those 2 guys. You could kind of see it earlier in the year when both of them were kind of hurt off and on, and they weren't playing consistently. We didn't play as well defensively, but I love their attitude. They both have great football sense and great field vision. As a safety, you have to be able to see the whole field and be able to diagnose things and react and get involved. And I just think we're going to be better and better. And, I think we're building a foundation on defense of how to play, and we're not going to lose that many guys next year. So that's what's really exciting, that we have so many good young players that we'll have for the future.
If you want your defense to have a personality, isn't it kind of Jack and Henry's personality?
Yeah, Jack and Henry both have that kind of. They have an edge to them. They love to compete, and they have a fieriness to them. And that's what defense is all about. You got to have pride, and you got to have a little bit of an edge to you. And and those guys have brought that. The last month, I've really been proud of our attitude and the way that we approach every game defensively, and we got a chance to improve on that.
You did talk about having to build depth on this team. How does that shape your recruiting cycle in terms of balance of high school transfer, especially with the new transfer rules?
Yeah, it's going to be a really critical recruiting year, and I think the big thing is we're going to really have to be disciplined. I think in this day and age with all the transfers and everybody's looking for a quick fix to grab certain players, I really been on our coaches about following our profile. I mean, we got to have kids that love to play ball. If you have guys that love to play, then practice is not a chore to them. They love to, practice is like a game to the guys that love to play. They'll work hard in the weight room, and they'll have great camaraderie together. And I think we really have to follow our profile, our athletic profile. We want long, physical kids. We like versatile players. Our best football players could play any position. Our receivers could play DB, our DBs could play wide out, our linebackers could play running back. And when you have versatile players like that, they're really good special teams players as well. So, we're gonna stick to the profile. It'll be filled with majority of high school kids, and some JC. And we'll be selective about transfer players. I just think there's you got to be careful and make sure that you get the right guys here. And we want guys that want to be here, that want to play at CSU, and that really fit our culture.
Does going on the
No, I don't think so. I just think I think it's that time of year, and I really reminded our players today is that, it's our responsibility to continue to improve and get better. And that comes from paying attention to details in your preparation and how you practice and how you go to meetings. And, this time of year, teams either get better or they get worse. And if you're not looking to improve, you're going to stay the same and people are going to go by you. So it's really critical for us to remember that. I cautioned our guys, you gotta protect your focus and not let people interfere in what you're trying to accomplish. And we want to finish strong. It's something that we talked about since the beginning of training camp. The second half of the season is really going to determine what kind of players we have, what kind of coaches we have, and what kind of program we have. And so we want to be one that continues to fight and improve and get better.
You got anything? Justin?